Now, the forward lounge looks like the place to be. A bar, tended by a big Belgian named Henri. A four-piece combo that could really blow a tune. Room to dance. And enough tables and chairs to throw a real party.
Ah, my Chulita, where have you been all my life? Club Marti is never the same when you are not there. You are looking muy baboso today. Why don't we go down to the lounge, where we can be alone together?
Nando, you never stop, do you?
Away with you, you dog! This shepherd does not need or want attention from such as you. Leave us, or I shall be forced to teach you a lesson.
Senor Farouk, you are a donkey. I would oblige your offer to settle this mano a mano, but in my country a gentleman would not insult the lady by fighting in her presence. Rid yourself of this toad, mi dulce, and meet me in the lounge, huh?
Stop it, you devil.
Swine! I should kill you!
Oh, don't let him upset you, dearest. He's just kidding.
Forgive me, my pet. Ever since I had to deal with that Weltner rogue, scoundrels like Cabron upset me terribly.
Just what do you mean, deal with Weltner, Prince? That doesn't sound too good, considering somebody just croaked him.
I assure you he was quite alive when I left him that day.
Oh, don't tell me. You had a fight with Weltner the day he died?
I know how this looks, but it is true. I went there with the intention of teaching him a lesson so that he would stay away from Wanda, this shepherd. But the man was insane, babbling incoherently, sobbing, laughing, stumbling. It would be a sin against Allah to strike a crazy man. So I cursed him and left. I swear, I did not kill him.
So, Farouk went to visit Weltner on the day of the murder to settle an old score. Bingo! Motive and opportunity. I tried to be as inconspicuous as possible as I looked for evidence in the forward lounge. The only thing I turned up was a packet of Sin-Sen on top of the piano. The galley was small, but had everything to cater to the worldly taste of a guy like Barnard. I also noticed several storage cabinets and closets that seemed to have everything necessary for the smooth operation of a class act like the Condor. Miss Simmons, Barnard said you could be trusted. I need some information about the Weltner murder. What did the...
Who do you think I am, the local librarian? Dig up your own story, Peters. I'm working.
Well, pardon me for breathing, sister. Look, I think we're both on the same side. You want to print the truth about Weltner, and I want to nail the murderer. If we can help each other, why not?
Oh, sort of you show me yours and I'll show you mine, huh, Peters?
Look, I just need some basic information. In return, I've got some juicy stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Something that'll have your readers jumping out of their skins about. So what do you say? I'll even go first.
Okay, shoot. But this better be good.
You tell me. You ready for this? Weltner was Barnard's illegitimate son. He never said anything about it, but the old man always looked out for the kid while he was growing up. Barnard pulled some strings and got Weltner the job in the customs department. Weltner was mixed up in this bribery business, and he was killed for his trouble. Barnard set up this whole excursion because he thinks the killer is on board. Now, because of his condition, he asked me to do what I could before the plane lands. And there you are.
You expect me to buy that? I mean, do I have sucker written on my face or what?
Suit yourself. But you know as well as I do, a bright reporter could corroborate that story. And you gotta admit, it's just a little too wild for me to make up.
You have a point there, Peters. Okay, what do you need to know?
Just how was the body found? And I mean the details the police have.
The police got an anonymous call about 9:30 p.m. A man telling them a murder was in progress. When they arrived, Weltner was already a cold fish, sprawled over an ottoman with $10,000 in new bills at his feet. I mean, they still had the bank wrappers on them. Federal Trust Bank of Durham, North Carolina. A glass of sherry was on the mantel. The residue in the bottom tested positive for mercuric chloride, enough to kill 3 men. There had been some sort of scuffle. A desk lamp was smashed and the papers from the desk were scattered on the floor. The telephone was off the hook and the receiver was near the body. The coroner said death occurred at about 9:45, but the poison could have been given up to 6 hours earlier. So anybody who was there from 3:45 on is a suspect. No witnesses have come forward, and that's about where the case stands. Any help?
I'll let you know. Keep that story I told you under your hat till after we land, okay?
Yeah. But if you crack this case, I get an exclusive on the story, okay?
You got it, doll. For the benefit of prying eyes, I pretended to be looking for a snack as I prowled around for clues in the galley. I was lucky this time. I got the last ham and cheese sandwich.
Ah, Senorita Dunn, won't you join us? We were just enjoying the view.
Why, thank you. Isn't it romantic? Flying off into the sunset on a simply gorgeous airplane like this? But I expect to look around and see Charles Boyer at any moment.
Enjoy it while you can, Miss Dunn. We should be landing back in Baltimore soon.
Oh, fiddlesticks. Why can't we just go on to Lisbon anyway? The steward says Mr. Barnard was feeling much better. And I've heard Portugal is simply heavenly this time of year. Isn't that so, Mr. Cabron?
Oh, si, Senorita. Portugal is a balmy land, indeed. However, I am sure your American South is muy bonita, no?
Oh, I suppose, but, well, I was so looking forward to being somewhere besides Durham during the tobacco harvest. Between the dust and the humidity, well, North Carolina in the summer is only fit for the health and the livestock. Perfectly devilish on a delicate nature such as my own. Charles, he's my baby brother, you know. Charles said, now you go off and enjoy Europe, and I'll see to the plantation. But now, that's all ruined. Stewart, is Mr. Barnard feeling any better?
Oh, boy. This gal has seen too many D.W. Griffith movies. I thought this kind of flower of the South had wilted long ago. I kept trying to imagine what a Dixie Belle from Durham, North Carolina had to do with Weltner's death. Wait a minute. Simmons said the $10,000 found near the body were still in wrappers from a bank in Durham, North Carolina. It's a safe bet Dunn was bribing Weltner, and probably the very day of the murder.
Prince Farouk, I understand you had an altercation with Mr. Weltner. I hope you were not injured by that maniac.
Injured? Hardly likely, Jagdish, my friend. He was harmless, incapable of hurting anyone but himself. Babbling incoherently, stumbling around, walking into walls. No, I'm sure he was in a stupor of some drug. Hashish, perhaps.
Harmless. To the contrary, he was quite violent. Why, he nearly killed me, or at least he tried to. Why, I was hardly through the door when he became agitated and began beating me, and then he hurled me to the front yard and yelled abusive things at me. No, Prince, this was a madman who was no doubt involved in some very nasty business. And I can prove it.
You must have encountered a different man, my friend. I repeat, the Weltner I saw was nearly incapacitated and could not have done what you say.
Mr. Beaters, you have shown an interest in this Weltner lunatic. Come to my stateroom and I will show you proof of his shady deeds. Come. Oh, Mr. Peters, I'm glad you're here. Look, I want you to have this. I must have inadvertently grabbed it off Mr. Weltner's desk when he attacked me at his townhouse. That Weltner man was a wicked one, and I'm sure this telegram proves it. Can you make anything of it?
Well, let me see that. It was a telegram from Paris dated about 3 weeks before the murder. Vintage 33 ready to ship. Stop. Have not received duty waivers. Stop. Do we have a deal? Stop. Yours, FL. Stop. FL. Could only mean Francois Leclerc. He was obviously trying to beat the customs duty on his wine by bribing Weltner. If Weltner was double-crossing him, the frog might have iced him. Or he could have seen the end coming, what with the impending hearings, and decided to cut his losses. Either way, Leclerc had a motive.
Ah, Monsieur Peters, will you join me in a glass of Bordeaux? By coincidence, the steward has located a bottle of one of my finest vintages, 1929.
Sorry, Leclerc. I'm a bourbon man myself.
To each his own, mon ami, but you are passing up a rare pleasure, I assure you. I have been making wine for 32 years, and I have yet to taste the rival of my 29 Bordeaux.
So tell me, Leclerc, what's your angle? How does a wealthy French landowner end up on the maiden voyage of this flying yacht?
I had no idea. I was in Baltimore for a few weeks on business, and I received a very gracious invitation to join Monsieur Bernard on the maiden flight of the Condor. It had been in all the papers, so I decided I would not, look a gift horse in the mouth, huh?
I cased the aft lounge as best I could without drawing the attention of anyone, but I found nothing of interest.